Hello! If this is your first time on my channel, I am Amanda Meru, and it is a true pleasure for me to have you here, and that we are going to elevate our levels of self-love. And once I become aware that, in the end, I am the filter, I am the measuring stick, I am the one who decides how the relationship with others will be. I can completely change my relationship with others. Everything goes through me. Once I understand and realize the importance of self-love, cultivating and preserving it, it also completely changes my romantic relationships as I begin on a path or journey that becomes engaging because evidently it is a sure bet. That is to say, between sowing outside my own grounds or first taking care of sowing at home, well, it's a sure bet. It's laying foundations in a place you will never regret because in the end, they are yours, right? So we have to consider what it means to work on ourselves and work on self-love. I bring you a series of hacks because you often tell me, Amanda, I want to, but sometimes I find it difficult. I hear you, the importance of staying and respecting myself resonates with me, but there are still things that pose an obstacle because I don't know how to handle them. Well, today is one of those videos where we are also going to talk about parts that we might not like as much. And it's that practicing self-love also means taking responsibility. That is to say, the time for passing the buck is over the moment I take charge of my life and take the reins of my life. I feel much more powerful because no one else comes and decides for me. Instead, I am always the one who decides first. But that, evidently, also means that I cannot give in to victimhood, to what others do to me. Instead, there is also a significant degree of responsibility that I begin to assume. And it's what makes me, also on the positive side, have that feeling of control over what happens to me. The first hack I want us to talk about today is understanding that a very common complaint I receive in consultations is, this person has made me waste my time. Let me tell you that no one makes you waste your time except yourself. And I'm going to explain why. When it is time we have enjoyed, when it is time we have lived to the fullest, it is not wasted time, even if it doesn't lead us to the goal we want. That is to say, you might say, look, I have had a very fulfilling relationship with a person, and it's true that I had a future project. And in the end, that person has changed their mind. Let's say that would be the case, in which because the future project didn't happen, we might feel more like we've been led to not fulfill our plans, our projects. I also say, life doesn't guarantee you anything. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. A future is always guaranteed, in quotes. But well, even so, if you were with whom you wanted to be, and you were living what you wanted to live at the times you wanted to live it, that time is not lost, and no one can take that time away from you. When is it wasted time? Wasted time is when we are in a situation that is not what we want, where we don't feel the way we want to feel, but we remain in it, believing that we are going to change things. I've been with this person for 5 years who hasn't even wanted to move in with me, and I really don't want a relationship anymore. Each in their own home, a relationship where we see each other once a week, but I remain hopeful of. Or I'm with someone who doesn't want a relationship with me, but I maintain the situation trusting that I'm going to make this person change their mind, and I suffer while I'm in this situation. I'm having a hard time, but I remain in it. So, the wasted time. Or rather, the one responsible for you feeling like you're wasting your time is you. Because in the end, it's a symptom of your predisposition to deal with ambiguity, to deal with lack of certainty, to deal with situations where you don't feel secure. So in the end, it's not the other person making you waste your time. It's your predisposition to accept being in the situation that you don't want. So do I have to learn once I love myself? No. I have a life. No one guarantees me, as I say, how long that life will last. To be honest, I don't know. What do I know? If I'm here, I've been in a situation for 3 years where I'm suffering, believing that I'm going to have a future with you. And who tells me that tomorrow I won't get sick or have a car accident or something else happens to me? So I can't mortgage my present for the sake of a future. I have to understand that what I have is a present. And if you are a person who today in my present can add to my life and contribute or wants the same as I do, and we have the same vision, great. Then let's live it. Let's live it. Because I know that whatever happens, what we've experienced, I will be glad to have lived it, and no one can take that away from me. Whether we are together tomorrow or not, that's another story. But I am not willing to mortgage my present for anything. I also have to be very clear about that. So it's not that Pepito or Julita is making me waste my time. It's that I am allowing it. And I shouldn't. I should be the one who values and cherishes my time so much that I am not willing to deal with that ambiguity, to stay where I shouldn't. The second hack, when you already get more in touch with my self-love, is that I am fully aware that love cannot be demanded. That's how it is. We would love it. It can't be bought, nor can it be demanded. Nor demanded, because in the end, the moment I claim, demand, or victimize myself by explaining to the other person, hey, look, you make me feel bad because of this, because you don't give me, which turns love into an obligation. And the only thing I'm going to achieve with that is that, well, sometimes this situation can confuse me because maybe a person doesn't want to lose me. If I demand and explain that I need something by force to stay, they will temporarily give it to me. Not because they want to give it to me, but because indeed, maybe, between wanting to give me more or losing me, they give in. But in the end, it's not about getting something through temporary coercion. So, when I realize that I'm interacting with someone and maybe I doubt their level of involvement, for example, this person, right? Let's say I have the feeling that I'm always the one putting in more effort. Instead of demanding from the other person, hey, look, I have this feeling, give me more. One way is, for example, to observe what happens if I give less. If I stop giving, if I'm always the one who initiates, who contacts. This would be a good example because it's a situation I often encounter. Amanda, this person and I do talk daily, but it's always me. Who seeks, who initiates, who contacts. And of course, it also bothers me because I want to see some effort from the other side. I'm not sure if I should talk about it. Well, haven't you considered that perhaps a more effective and sincere way, above all, would be to not initiate, not contact, and observe what comes from the other side? What the other gives you. Because without putting it on the table like, hey, either you give or I leave, you're going to get a much more sincere response and you'll really be able to see. The thing is, sometimes we fear and don't want to really see what's there. We prefer to stick with the image we have of the situation, right? But believe me, it's always better to know what's there. So when I sometimes feel that the other person isn't measuring up and that I'm somehow overcompensating or pressuring, I stop doing and allow the other to be. And to give me what they want to give me, right? And there I know, what the other truly wants to give me, I'm no longer deceiving myself. So, another way to get more from the other is to understand that in the end, everything goes through me. That is, I cannot ask others for what I am not capable of giving myself. And sometimes we don't realize this. So if I want more attention from the other, instead of asking for more attention, I have to give myself more attention. Really, try this because you'll be surprised at how it works. If I want the other to dedicate more quality time to me, dedicate more quality time to yourself first. If I would like the other person to care more about you, care more about yourself. This, which seems paradoxical, works wonderfully because it's what I said at the very beginning. You are the filter. Everything goes through the relationship we have with ourselves. And when we want to see a change in the way the other person treats us, in the respect they have for us, in the consideration, in the affection, it starts with you. It doesn't happen by going searching, demanding, insisting, making them see. As I say, love should not be an obligation. And there's no need to. how to put it? It's not that there are people who know how to love and others who don't. Believe me, we are all born with that ability. And when someone moves us enough, it comes naturally. Perhaps this person doesn't convey it in the way you do. That's different, isn't it? There are many ways to show or express love. But you will be aware. And there, yes, listen, you can explain. Look, for example, I am more of a physical contact person, right? I realize that this person shows me their love by doing many things for me, always being attentive. But still, they are not so much into touch or not so much into expressing it verbally. But there you won't have the doubt of feeling that they don't love you. Rather, it's just that you need a different way. And there, yes, in a completely affectionate manner, you can explain, hey, look, I'm the kind of person who loves to express love like this. If you see that you can, if it doesn't make you uncomfortable, I would love it, right? Or to express gratitude many times, right? And well, I would appreciate it. I love it when, if maybe this person does it less than you, then when they do it, praise them so they realize. But that's different. As you, well, understand, and I know you understand, I'm talking about these ways in which we really feel neglected, because indeed the other person is failing. And we believe that the way to get them to love us more is by trying harder, by opposing the part that fails on the other person's side. Well, no, don't put it in the neighbor's garden. Really try to put what you would like to receive in your own garden. And when you doubt if it fails, just pause a little and observe, right? What comes from the other person? And there you will have your answer. Another would be that the moment I truly love myself, I understand that I cannot be loving myself well and accepting that I don't love myself. It's incompatible. That phrase that says, the day you have to choose between staying where you're not loved and where you are loved, choose wisely, right? And it's true. Many times we believe that when we leave situations in which we don't feel reciprocated because of the feelings we have, leaving would be betraying ourselves, right? Betraying our feelings. And this is normal because obviously you want to be in tune with what you feel. You want your heart and mind to go hand in hand. And it's like, if I have feelings for this person, I want this to work. I want to stay. But above all, I have to understand that this must be mutual. So since I can't force anyone to love me, if this person, once I offer them my love and do everything I can, cannot or does not want to love me, I have to understand that I should not stay. And that it's not betraying myself. Betraying myself is the opposite. But betraying myself is accepting less than I deserve. It's staying in a place where I'm not being loved, right? And I'm also denying myself the possibility of meeting the person who will love me, right? We often don't realize it, but staying in a place where you're not loved is preventing you from moving forward to the place where you will be loved. What happens is that at that moment, since that person hasn't appeared yet, you don't give it importance, right? But it's true. You shouldn't lose sight of this. You are not betraying a reality or a feeling, nor are you failing the person, because sometimes we come to interpret it that way, right? It's like failing myself, failing what I feel, failing the other person. No. Above all, as I say, you are aware that you deserve something reciprocal and mutual. Fighting for love is not fighting for someone who doesn't love me to love me. Fighting for love should always be when we love someone and we are in a relationship and there might be crises. Perhaps there are struggles, there can be external obstacles that complicate the relationship, and that is what you fight for. You have to give in and adapt to the other person, right? But not fighting for them to love you. That is to say, it's not the lack of love. Sometimes you have to fight a little more to maintain attraction, to cultivate empathy, to yield to the other person's needs, to make ourselves understood. Of course, a relationship requires moments, but it's not a struggle. Let's say it's more like, well, I do what is necessary because you matter to me. And when you matter to me, obviously I'm not going to give up on you at the first sign of trouble, nor am I going to throw away a relationship at the first sign of trouble. That's where you put in effort and do your part and show willingness. But having to put in effort and willingness for another person to see potential, or for a person for whom we are very clear and feel a lot to feel the way we do, no. The only thing that does is create a situation where your self-esteem will be very diminished and very destroyed, precisely because deep down you are aware that it is not right and that this does not do you any good. And that the right thing to do to be true to yourself. It's not that I don't want to leave because I betray my feelings. I don't want to betray what I deserve, and I am true to myself first. And then to whoever comes, but first to myself. So as you see, these hacks are based on becoming aware again that I have the power. I have the power over myself, no matter how much you might feel ultimately. That does not exempt me from having the power of choice. I have the final say. And in situations where, before becoming aware of all this, I found myself involved and felt that I couldn't decide because making decisions was painful. Sometimes we don't want to decide, or we don't want to realize that we have that ability to choose, because indeed, sometimes having to make certain decisions, even though we know they are the right ones, hurts and we don't want to. And suffering is not pleasant, but when I start to practice taking care of the relationship with myself above others, I understand that the other way is not that I don't suffer. It's that on top of everything, I suffer without having a sense of control over my life. That is to say, if I am in a situation where I don't leave because it hurts to go, but it also hurts to stay, I'm not gaining anything. I'm simply already feeling pain. But on top of that, I indeed have that feeling that I'm not deciding, that life is deciding for me, right? That I have the feeling, and what am I going to do? It doesn't matter. You have the feeling, but in the end, the feeling comes from you. Yes, it's arbitrary in the sense that you might not have expected it to arise for that person. Or things were going well and you didn't choose for this person to suddenly change their mind and treat you differently. Of course, there are things that are beyond your control. But above all, it's about understanding that there are others that are not. As I say, I'm not going to blame this person tomorrow for making me lose 2 years of my life, because I'm going to be the kind of person who won't allow someone to come and make me lose 2 years of my life. Because I know that the moment the other person fails me, staying where they are failing me is failing myself. It's not betraying the feeling, it would be failing myself. And I choose myself. So what I want to convey to you is that self-love, as I've told you before, won't prevent someone from being able to hurt you. But it will save you a lot of pain in situations where it's unnecessary and makes you understand that if you take care of yourself, you know what your limits are and you set them because you are loyal to yourself above all else. And this helps a lot. And the mere fact that you are this type of person will make many people, from the very first moment, treat you in a very specific way, respect you, and take you much more seriously. Believe me, it is like that. Remember that loving yourself a little more each day and knowing how to love yourself a little better is a safe bet. Well, I hope this video is useful to you, that you liked it. If that's the case and you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, of course I invite you to do so, to hit the bell, because I would love for us to see each other again very soon. And until then, as always, I send you a big kiss.